Hi everyone, welcome to Skin School. This music always makes me be feel so nostalgic because it's kind of what we've been doing the last over a year, and we've been doing Skin School through pandemic when we were all like locked down with Siobhan, Victoria, Charlie Pepper in Los Angeles, and this music always reminds me of these times. So today we're in Düsseldorf. I'm in Düsseldorf, not my guests. My guests are actually in New York, Chrissy and Danielle. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi. Oh my gosh, sorry. I was having technical difficulties. Mercury and retrograde.
I love you. I love you. You're just like Uber. I mean, it's just, I love it. It's just also, I think we have to have it like this. You look beautiful. Your skin is glowing. New York seems to do well for you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hi, Barbara.
I'm good. Hi, Chrissy. Good to see you. Glowing too. I'm so happy to see your faces. I miss you, and I know it's all my Malcolm was just texting me, everybody's doing events again. It's so nice to see things are starting to get back into action again, especially also New York and Hamptons. It's so great. How have you been?
We're gonna need you back in New York.
I know. I want to come.
But yeah, it's been nice. I actually went to like my first real event last week at the New York Botanical Gardens, which was nice.
This looked amazing.
Yeah.
It was really, really beautiful. And it was so exciting to see like the Yayoi Kusama exhibition. And it was outside. There was a little bit indoors as well, but so it felt very safe, and it was just like nice to see people again.
Yeah.
I know, it looked so great. You both went?
No, I'm still in New Orleans, which is probably why my skin looks good, because the humidity is my friend here. I've actually been able to cut things out of my skin routine. I can use less products because the environment aids in helping my skin to naturally just do its thing.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, you see the seasonalities, and depending where you are also makes you change your skincare routine. I think that's a really good point we can jump in and talk about, because, I get asked a lot, what is when it's winter, what it's when you're in the city, what it's when you're on vacation. So you basically mix and match your routine depending on what's going on. Also, if you have hormonal breakouts once a month, you use the clarifying routine. If you're going into the summer months, I just did a video this morning. We're launching an Aloe Vera Gel. Ooh. It's really amazing.
Gosh, I need that because I got sunburned so badly.
I know.
Because I know you're gonna be mad about this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I was using this glycolic peel.
Oh,
and I know.
You can't say that word around Barbara.
I know.
Oh my God.
It's a real bad no-no. People don't do that, and certainly don't do it and go lay in the sun. So it was on my chest, because I usually break out really bad on my chest, not on my face. And so I basically was 3 different colors. It was so red and peeling, but
yeah, it's because your skin is raw. These peels take off your healthy skin layers. They're not exfoliate just your dead skin cells. They exfoliate your entire healthy skin layers, and then you're raw and vulnerable. It's like there you see no skin barrier function, no function at all, no microbiome, nothing, and the sun really brutally gets through it, and then you get inflammation, and that's what it is, this redness, this burn, that is inflammation. You know what actually is really great? The aloe vera gel, yes, but also the calming serum. You can use the calming serum. The great thing about the aloe vera gel is it's also cooling, it's soothing, cooling, it's hydrating. It has normally if you have it in your garden, you just pick a leaf and put it on. But, most people don't have it in their garden, and
most people not have it. I did not have access to it.
And also if you have an aloe vera leaf in the fridge, I mean, it's good if you have it for a day or two, but then the longer you have it, the potency of this aloe vera gel coming from the leaf is going down rapidly. So the only way to really make it stable is to preserve it in a certain way in the lab. So we use 90% aloe vera juice in that in this formulation, 90%, and it's all organic. It's hand picked, you know, it's really nicely harvested, and as soon as we get it, it's stabilized, so the potency is been preserved, which is great, you know.
I can't wait to use it because I was looking for something and I was like, okay, let me go to like Walgreens and Target, but I did not like all the other ingredients that were included.
Exactly, because you know, lots of products that say aloe vera gel, and then you look on the back and you think, oh, there's actually so many other shit in before actually aloe vera is at the end, you know. And that's why I'm saying we have 90% aloe vera juice, and the rest is purslane and panthenol. So it's just the most amazing combination of ingredients, and this is what matters. So it doesn't make sense to go and buy like a $2.99 aloe vera gel, because it probably won't be what you're looking for, you know. It's just important that you have the best ingredients in the best formulation.
So when is this aloe vera going to be available to everybody?
I know it's on, maybe you guys in the background can answer this. It's already on pre-order. Okay. I know this for a fact. And I did a video today about it. So it must be coming out soon, because they were like kind of harassing me for this video. So I think it must be launching any minute.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, that's good news.
I know, especially for the summertime, just right on time.
Mm-hmm.
Just right on time. Yeah, but you know, it's nice to learn how we met, because you know, we've been friends for a long time, especially Danielle and I. We've gone back a long way, and Danielle's been a great supporter always for the darker skin tone line, which we created like 6 years ago together with Angela Bassett. And we did like lots of round tables and breakfasts in New York when it was still possible. And then we did it also virtually. But Danielle and Chrissy started their own business, which is also actually nice to hear a little bit entrepreneurial work here and how this came about and what you're doing. So we decided to also, you know, put our powers together. And ever since, Chrissy and Danielle are helping to really bring like more awareness to also that special line, which I love so much. And you guys, I mean, you guys have been using the line. So what is your overall thinking about this topic? And, you know, what should we do from a marketing perspective, or from, you know, how to spread the word about that there is such a product? Is it necessary that we have such a product? And yeah, tell us also about your business.
Sure. So I have been using darker skin tones line since 2015. I first met Barbara. She was like, I'm going to make you a blood cream, which was like your kind of like first product. So the process is like, you go and you get your blood taken, they spin out the platelets, and then a cream with your own blood is essentially made for you, like a moisturizer. And because I had been working in fashion and beauty for a really long time, and I kind of like made a rough transition from fashion to beauty. So I had been literally burned by so many people and companies promising that they had products that worked for all hair types or all skin types. And I just had like crazy bad reactions to it, or, you know, it never worked on my hair, or it was just really frustrating. So I didn't have all that much trust in the fact that like anything good could come of darker skin tones line. But I had done a story on the fact that Angela Bassett was using it, because when I worked at BET, you know, how good she looks is certainly a topic that people care about, and like what she does to like maintain her skin. So I was very curious, and I tried the product, and I have been using it religiously ever since, like the whole skin system, and for different reasons. So like I mentioned, I accidentally burned myself, and I'm a little bit more open to trying other things, but because I have like the hyaluronic acid, and I have the calming serum, and I have the heavy face cream, like you're able to like change out different products to serve whatever kind of skin needs you have, but I always know and I always trust that they're going to work for me just because the research is there. And that's what Chrissy and I really like about the fact that this line has been developed in the first place, because so many of the existing skincare and beauty companies will not actually test products on Fitzpatrick scale 4 and up. And so the Fitzpatrick scale, for anyone who doesn't know, is a way to classify skin tone. So it goes from 1 to 6, 1 being the fairest and 6 being the darkest. And most brands, when they decide that they're going to launch products, they usually test between the range of like 1 to 3, because they decide that that's the customer they're going to go for, and that's who they are welcoming into their brand, and they don't ever expand it. Which means that someone who is a darker skin tone might try something, and like Barbara says, it induces inflammation. There are so many ingredients that actually like can be very reactive for skin that has more melanin in it. So it's important to recognize that difference. And it's not a bad thing. I remember when you first launched it, people felt very weird about, you know, it being separate. Like, there's something naughty or like, you know, like divisive about having like a separate line, but really all it does is serve customers better. And plenty of people who have Fitzpatrick 1 to 3 can also use darker skin tones. Like it's not, but it's saying, hey, like we are welcoming you with darker skin tones, which I think is really important. And it's kind of like a metric that we use to tell our other clients that they need to aspire to, like make sure that you're communicating that you are welcoming to people and their specific needs, because that's, you know,
it's like, that's a very good point, by the way. I think they just didn't think about the fact that also as soon as more melanocytes are in the skin has different reaction to certain things, and also a higher inflammation level. So, you know, also, you know, seborrheic glands are different, thickness of skin is different. There's some more difference than just the inflammation part. So I think it's important to also address all those things, and then to put it all in a pot with all Fitzpatrick, you know, types. It's just like too, you know, general. I think it's nice to actually divide this up. You can call it, you know, whatever, melanin-rich skin, or it's just like, you know, Angela and I were discussing these names, like, it was so hard because, you know, in England, we would say darker skin tones. In America, they say skin of color. So it was like, we even had like 2 different packagings in the beginning. I mean, like crazy, crazy. And we had to, you know, produce so many of those because different names, different this. So it was like crazy. But I think it's actually good that there is like categories. I mean, it's not like, we actually only have 5 products in a darker skin tone range. That means all the other products you use from, you know, the normal range, you know, or I personally, I just now use the hyaluronic serum from the darker skin tone range. It's not like, oh, you only use this and we only use this, or it's just like you pick the stuff you like or which works for you, or when you have breakouts, use the darker skin tone line, you know, and the clarifying line, you know, or you mix and match. And so I think it's just like a few products which address exactly this needs, and especially the moisturizer. I think it's so important to have like, because we worked on this moisturizer for so long to make it just right, you know, hydrating, not too rich, but still taking care. It was like a masterpiece, and it went back and forth from Angela to me, her assistant. I mean, like everybody was trying out these creams. So that's why it's actually really working, you know?
Yeah. I know. I personally like love the idea that there is this, you know, line within your massive brand that is dedicated to my skin. And like, of course, I met you, I think for the first time, maybe like 2018, I didn't work in beauty. So I was like, felt so lucky to be invited to that breakfast. And, you know, hearing the thought and time and attention you've put into this line really makes you believe in it, because I think there's a lot of us that probably feel skeptical, like, oh, this white lady like created a beauty line that's dedicated, like, what does she know about our skin? And obviously, yeah, you worked alongside Angela Bassett, which is incredible. And yeah, you have really done the research and put so much time and attention into it. So, but I also thought like your approach is so interesting, because I remember talking to you at the end of the brunch, and you were like, don't use retinol, don't use glycolic, which were all things I was using on my skin because I've always struggled with acne. I started getting cystic acne around like 29, 30, and like that's been a struggle for me for the last couple of years. And this was like the opposite of what I had heard. And I was even skeptical of what you said. So I didn't take your advice right away, but I would definitely say in the last 2 years now, I've laid off the retinol, and especially, during the pandemic, because I ran out of my prescriptions. And, I've been using your line now consistently since end of January, February this year. And my skin definitely looks the best it's ever looked. I remember we had an event first week of April. I had just gotten a massive under my eyebrow, and I had such a dark scar from it. And now it's pretty much almost gone, 7 weeks later. So I noticed right away how well it was working on my hyperpigmentation, which, has just been such a struggle for me. Because even though the rate of my acne has slowed down, it's it doesn't matter if I get 2 for the month. It's those are 2 scars I'm going to have on my face for the months to come.
Do you use the spot treatment on it too?
Yes, I have been using it. I love it.
Yeah, I think that is also good to really, instead of popping it and making the inflammation worse, just put the spot treatment on. But someone was just asking, why not retinol? And I'm not a fan of retinol. My background is, anti-inflammation. I'm an anti-inflammatory doctor. I come from the orthopedics, and everything, what goes together with inflammation also causes aging and destruction. And so I was really bringing this anti-inflammatory approach into skincare. And retinol is one ingredient which causes inflammation, and not just causing inflammation, it also disrupts skin barrier function and the microbiome, and takes away healthy skin layers, same like glycolic acid peel. So it's the same approach, which, the approach is basically, oh yeah, let's accelerate the cell turnover, which is not a good solution either, because your cells will never be able to grow that fast to be mature adult cells, which have all the functions a cell should have. A skin cell should all have, the functions to protect your skin, and this will never be possible if you keep putting retinol on your skin. So you will have a constant inflammation level in your skin, which is really not really what we should have in our skin, not in any part of our body. Inflammation is causing aging, is causing, destruction, hyperpigmentation, especially in our skin as well. So inflammation, we should try to get under control. That's why I say don't use retinol. The opposite, really strengthen your skin barrier, strengthen your skin, the acceleration of the cell turnover, or trying to, because that's what people also say, when we age, our cell turnover slows down. And that's correct. So we need to enhance it, but we enhance it by giving the skin the hydration level, the nutrients, the telomerase activation, which actually makes sure your cells are dividing in proper to new identical cells in the amount they should be, instead of going down in their cell divisions. So there are other ingredients from nature which can help to to provide that. And so yeah, retinol should not be on the ingredient list of your products. And you just said it, you've been using retinol for a long time, and now you don't, and your skin has never been looking better.
Honestly, and I was on prescription retinoids for about a decade. And so even though I had acne, I always felt well, my skin still feels really smooth, and sure, I don't really have any wrinkles, which I think is just also my skin on its own. And so I was also kind of scared to go off of it, because I thought it made my skin texture look so much better. But I don't feel like that's declined in any way since I've stopped using retinol.
You do, you know what? When you use retinol, it causes sensitivity, redness, and dryness. So it actually makes your, forming wrinkles worse unless you go back with retinol and takes off more skin layers, then it thins out your skin. So it's all not what you want. So actually what makes your, wrinkle problem better is adding hydration and nutrition and, pumping up your cells with goodness,
Right. Yeah. And I think the hydration piece has like been so big for me as well, because I think especially when you have acne and you have oily skin, like we're always taught growing up that like we should be drying out our skin, right?
And scrubbing it off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Scrubbing it off, using all these harsh exfoliants, drying it out, like that was the way to clear skin. And like now, it's really in the last several years that I've realized like, no, my skin really needs hydration and just like looks so much better when I'm properly moisturizing my skin.
I think that this like, I think
you go.
this like idea that's like no pain, no gain is so pervasive across so many industries. Like everything needs to be a bit punishing in order for you to know it works. So like reframing that conditioning and like being like, oh, like I'm putting a skincare product on my face and it's not burning. How do I know it's working? Like, we have to really think that that was like an old way of treating skin conditions and probably not that effective. And so we have to be like learn patience. And this is like, I mean, with every industry, because I think it's happening in fitness too. Like you're not supposed to push your body to a point where, it's uncomfortable constantly.
Yeah, also causes inflammation. Same thing, we shouldn't push ourselves, and burning and hurting, it's not an option, because that's a signal from the body to say, oh, stop what you're doing. It's like, that's logical. But let's talk about exfoliation, because someone was also asking about physical exfoliations. So we have 3 forms of exfoliation. The first form is a mechanical exfoliation, which is like a facial scrub, can be destructive if it's harsh, and depending what kinds of particles are in there for exfoliation. Ours is very hydrating, very soft. So I like it. Actually, I alternate with the enzyme cleanser. So physical, mechanical exfoliation, number 1. The second one is enzymatic exfoliation, like the enzyme cleanser, which has 2 enzymes, subtilisin and lipase, which break down the proteins and the lipids from the cells. And they exfoliate dead skin cells and loosen the conjunctions between the dead skin cells. So that is the most gentle form of exfoliation, and you use that twice a week. Mix the powder with water and activate the enzymes. Wash your face, and then you wash it off. Super, super gentle. Also, when you have acne-prone skin, rosacea-prone skin, any type of skin compromising, it works. And then the third form is an acid peel or retinol or retin-A glycolic, any kind of those ingredients. They not only exfoliate your dead skin cells, but also your healthy skin cells and cause destruction in your skin structure and skin functions. So that is what we should not use. And we, the most gentle form is probably the enzymatic cleanser. And as you just said, when you have breakouts and oily skin, you feel like, oh, I need to dry out my skin. But if you dry out your skin, your sebum production gets actually enhanced, because like, oh shit, my skin is dry, so I have to produce more. So it's actually not the way to go. The way to go is always give hydration. Always give hydration. Try to get the sebum production under control, which there are ingredients which can help to do so. And one thing is using the enzyme cleanser twice a week, using the clarifying serum, the clarifying face cream, the clarifying mask, and spot treatment. So there's a really great program to, also our normal or the darker skin tone face wash, for example, is really great because it's extra antibacterial and anti-inflammatory. So there are really beautiful hydrating solutions to get sebum production under control and heal the spots and breakouts in a gentle way. Never, ever, ever, ever dry out your skin. It's never an option. Dehydrated skin has broken skin barrier function, and then we lose more hydration, bacteria can come in. It's just not a good way. Skin needs hydration, and that is, I think, what I also cracked the code for with our skincare, because it's, I just really focus a lot on hydrating the skin. And people sometimes say, oh, it's probably simple to do. It's not so simple, you know. Hydration is also not oil. If you put oil on your skin shuts down and dries out even more. Or if you have super dry skin and you put oil on your skin, it's a disconnect between the oil and the skin, because the skin cells are flaky, so it doesn't even penetrate. And I mean, these are all the little tricks of a good, you know, skincare routine, and understanding how, you know, active ingredients can actually penetrate into the skin and what makes your skin dry out. Because I used to have super dry skin, and I was putting all these rich moisturizers on it, and it didn't help. And I was like, why is there no moisturizer which just hydrates my skin? I couldn't understand it, you know.
And you also offer like supplements and things that you can do internally to help hydrate your skin. Can you talk about like things that we should be eating or drinking that will help improve skin?
That's a good point, because, you know, it's not just about the products you put on your skin. It's also about the products you don't put on your skin. It's also about your, you know, sleep habits. You know, do you get your 8 hours? Do you go to bed early? What is your stress level? Are you stressed? Are you freaking out about the news? What's happening? So is your cortisol going up? You know, your diet. What do you eat? Do we eat a lot of meat? Do we eat a lot of dairy? Do we eat sugars and drinking sodas? That's probably not a good idea. So I think it's like mindfulness, what we put in our bodies, how we treat our bodies. I think there's a lot of good things we can do to support our skin. You know, there's like old Chinese or Indian medicine where, you still can read so much from your skin. If you're healthy, if you're, if you have enough sleep, if you're stressed, you can see it on your skin. And, I created supplements to support, first of all, to bring all the science I discovered for our skincare line, because I was so obsessed with the science that I thought, geez, this is all for my skin cells. I need this for every cell in my body. So all the science is really also put together in the skin food. And that really is a game changer. In theory, I can tell you everything and how it works and why it works. But in reality, how would you ever know that it works? It's like, how would you ever, distinct? But people who use it, they are so obsessed about it because you can actually see a difference.
Mm-hmm. I just started traveling again for work, and that has I didn't realize even just changing waters does a lot to my skin, and the stress I think of being on airplanes and in different time zones and having a full schedule again. I'm very used to my life in this nice little bubble. And now that it's changing again, my skin now is back to normal. I've been back for 3 days now, but having that not traveled at all for over a year and then starting to do it again it's not
stressful. Really, it's stressful. I don't even want to think about traveling, and yet you have to. And I think, doing one trip now feels like, when you did 5 trips a week,
I can't believe it. It's so exhausting too.
Yeah.
I know. I don't ever want to go back to that.
No, not at all. I mean, we probably learn how to set priorities and really just find the things which are totally necessary, but the rest, we learned how to get really good things done via Zoom. It's so great that we're doing all of this via Zoom. I think when I always wanted to do the master classes in skin school before the pandemic, and I tried to do it with retailers and they weren't really up for it. And so I was like, now we were ready to go right away because we had the concept worked out before, but now I think people are happy in their homes. They like to learn via Zoom. They maybe weren't prepared before COVID because everybody was so busy running around doing all kinds of things. And now we actually learned how to be at home and spending time with this type of education. So it's great.
It is. And now also darker skin tones comes in travel sizes, which is relatively new because before, when I was using these products, I was tapping out the enzyme cleanser and putting it in these little
Oh my God.
thinking that I was going to get stopped at security because it's a powder, which you like, you know, mix with water to like wash your face. But I was like, someone is going to flag this because it looks so suspect for me to be traveling.
With your little baggie of powder. Yeah.
Yes.
Not weird at all.
But now I have my cases and I take everything. It is weird though to like not have access to full size products. Like I'm like, oh, the luxury of being home is unbeat. Like it's unmatched.
Yeah,
even when I go away for the weekend, I'm like, oh my God, I have to travel with like my full size everything.
Yeah. I even have the big sizes from the spas at home, the mask.
Oh, nice.
So nice. What's the time? Should we dial in some participants?
Yeah,
anybody
it's 11:30
wanting to dial in?
Yes, it's time.
We should have Dominique on the line. Dominique, if you want to just unmute yourself and stick on your camera.
Hi guys. I wear glasses and sometimes occasionally smoke some pot, and I notice that I have blackheads on my nose, and I'd like to hear any recommendations that you have around like regularly getting rid of blackheads. And then the second question is getting facials and how regularly you would recommend that. Thank you.
So blackheads is a phenomenon which is not being solved by doing one thing. I think, you know, if a product says, oh, this works against blackheads or something, it's just something harsh we don't want to deal with. I think blackheads should be, you know, solved by having a proper functioning yet hydrating skincare routine. So it's going from cleansing, and the cleansing should be pH, you know, sensitive to our skin. We should have twice a week a gentle exfoliation with an enzyme cleanser. We should keep our skin extra hydrated. And something I would suggest everybody to use is our balancing toner to, you know, start the hydration, but also help to, you know, engage with the pH, even out the pH, balance the pH, also strengthen skin barrier function, especially when you have blackheads and, you know, impurities and sometimes oily skin. And then hydrate with a hyaluronic serum and use a really good moisturizer, which doesn't sit in your pores, but really just gives you the perfect hydration and the lipids you need for your skin barrier. So actually, you know, what you could start trying is the, you know, the travel size, the kit for darker skin tones. If you get that one, and you can try all the products together, and, you know, it probably will last you for 3 to 4 weeks, and then you can just really assess how this really helps with also your blackheads. But in general, if you want to go and get a facial, clean it out, that would be actually good. Don't try to work on it yourself. So every 4 weeks to get like a proper facial done. I don't know, where do you live?
I live in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
where
cool.
the humidity is also really intense right now. So
yeah, and you have these crickets,
benefiting.
no, in Washington, D.C. You have those crazy crickets.
We have giant cicadas, and I'm keeping my camera off because they
It's
keep
so
falling
crazy.
on this roof, and I
It's
don't
so
want to jump.
crazy. I
So,
never seen that. I mean, these are like
No,
these big
this
bugs
big.
with red eyes, and they're
and
so
they get on
noisy.
you.
Yeah.
And they're
They're
very,
so
and when you
noisy.
Crawl just thinking about it.
Oh my God, I never seen that before. So I wish we had a spa in Washington, D.C., but we might have one eventually. But you know, have a good facialist who does really gentle but yet thorough extraction would be good. You know, with really also steaming your skin before, you know, being very gentle. Don't do facials with harsh ingredients. Don't do Hydra facials. Don't do, you know, acid peels. You know, it's the thing, you know, if you go to any facialist, you know, you don't know what they're putting on your skin or what they're doing or what they're recommending you. And then, you know, sometimes you cause more problems than it's doing any good for you. So ideally, if you are in New York in the next couple of weeks, we would prefer to organize a facial in New York for you.
I know. Why don't some facialists steam beforehand? Like so strange to me. That can't be good, right?
I mean, the steaming can be good if you want to, extract and get like blackheads out, because it loosens up the pores. It's better than, putting acids on.
Right.
Someone asked, why not Hydrofacials? I thought they were great for everyone.
Because Hydra Facial is also super harsh. It's also too over exfoliating. It's basically the same problems, broken skin barrier function, causing, sensitivity. It's too harsh. It's too harsh for your skin,
Yeah.
So that is something. And you think Hydra Facial sounds pretty good, pretty promising, because it doesn't say it, it just says Hydra Facial. Yeah, hydration facial, good,
Right.
I think a lot of people get out of facials and have these effects and don't really, adverse effects. Like they have increased breakouts, or they have hyperpigmentation, or they have some sort of inflammation reaction to the products that were used, and they don't really understand like what happened. And so it makes people afraid to even get facials in the first place, because you never really know like what could happen.
And
that's the thing, that go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you believe in the like purging of the skin? Like, I feel like some people say that like, oh, after you get a treatment, like your skin might be bad for a while because it's purging. And
Yeah, but that's the thing, why would we harm our skin to start the healing process? Our
Right.
healing process, can help to heal back skin, but why would we hurt it? I mean, like if you do like gentle, microneedling, for example, I think that's a good way, or massaging the skin, but really also lasering, and unless you have like real issues, like if you have like cystic acne and your dermatologist at one point will prescribe you vitamin A or like retinol or something, that's a different story, but then you go to a dermatologist and the dermatologist tells you that's the side effects, that's how you have to behave, you use it like this and that, and then you stop, and then it's just like a different procedure. I think going off and getting crazy ingredients for your in-house use, it's just not the good way to go, especially when you have healthy skin. Why damaging your skin if it's healthy and beautiful?
yeah.
Okay, who is next?
Did we answer your questions?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Okay,
to
next
see
I
you.
think we have Adele. Adele, are you on the line? Do you want to just unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
How
are
yeah,
you?
so my question kind of has to do with hyperpigmentation. So I used a retinol for a period of time and then had that kind of breaking out thing that happens. And now I'm learning that maybe, retinol is not for my skin type and my skin tone. But my question was about the products that you have. So you have the brightening serum, and then there's the Good C serum, and they both seem to treat hyperpigmentation, but I was wondering what the difference between the two was, and then how you would also be incorporating the two of them into a routine.
That's a very good question. And who said retinol is not for your skin type?
I've noticed that it just kind of, my skin just ended up being damaged every time I
Yeah, but
put a
why?
retinol
But why?
on it.
I just want to get to the point here, because it's not good for any skin type, and that you react is not. Lots of people react to that, Some people think, oh, I have to go through that, or I have to slowly, go in concentration or whatever. It's like, you damage your skin and you can see it, and if you make your skin so vulnerable, then sun can even cause more hyperpigmentation, because it's unprotected entering your skin layers. So instead of solving the problems, you actually cause more problems. And that's why if you see someone who uses retinol glycolic all the time, they get these spotty faces, they have like these spots everywhere, and it's like, it's not really like big, but it looks like all over, it looks spotty and
Yeah,
dead. It's like dead looking.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks, and I just noticed all of a sudden hyperpigmentation along my jaw and cut the product out right away because it had never happened before, and bad idea.
Yeah, so you make the problem worse. So the key is really to, first of all, avoid injuries, avoid scratches, popping pimples, anything harsh. I think that is the key, because if inflammation starts, and melanin-rich skin, the more melanocytes we have in our skin, the more the inflammation level is going on. So you get like, and then what started, happening is called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And this, we can avoid, with just being a little more conscious how we treat our skin in the first place, also when we're young. But then in the long run, when there already hyperpigmentation, sensitivity occurs, etc., a really good combination of products to treat pigmentation is you use the darker skin tone cleanser, the darker skin tone enzyme cleanser twice a week, the darker skin tone hyaluronic serum, the brightening serum, the Good C, and the brightening face cream, or the darker skin tone face cream, one of the two, and then your sun drops, the SPF 50. And then that is a good, you can also use the supplements, the brightening food. It's all herbal, it's all like natural ingredients, but with the power, to loosen the agglomeration of these yellow and dark spots, but also helping to prevent from, the hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation only comes if there's an enzyme called tyrosinase. It's the enzyme which makes the agglomeration happening, the spottiness. And there's vitamin C who can downregulate that, and also glutathione. So the Good C would be a good product to use, but also the super anti-aging serum, because it has glutathione in, and also the skin food glutathione, very good. That is good also to prevent from hyperpigmentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. So what do you think about hyperpigmentation, guys?
I think that's probably the number one question that, when we did, have to work on SEO stories for BET, like it was always like a top search term for people with melanated skin. They're always worried about hyperpigmentation. Also because so many products make grand sweeping claims that they'll cure it, or they'll completely erase these spots, and like they just don't. So
how is it possible, those claims? How is that possible?
It's wild.
I mean, the FDA kicks your ass with every little detail you do wrong on a job, like whatever, it's like we have like this supplements, whatever. I mean, we put on there, we always get in trouble with FDA, but they're like, products saying this stuff. It's like, oh, you want smaller pores, use that. You want, pigmentation issues it's like crazy, no?
Yes, it is. And I think a lot of people are frustrated because, they spend a lot of money trying to solve this one problem and nothing ends up working. Or if they go to a doctor sometimes, and this happened to me, like they'll be prescribed hydroquinone, which, in high quantities, which essentially just bleaches your skin.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. I've had that where it's like, you try and use the tiniest little Q-tip to like put it on one spot, but then you get the ring around it, and it's can
you imagine?
Nightmare.
Can you imagine? It's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
A nightmare.
Let's summarize the ingredients not to use: hydroquinone, glycolic, retinol, retin-A, any form of acid peel. What did I forget? These are the most important ones.
We're not doing those anymore either.
Hydra Facial, yeah.
I've never done one.
Either.
Oh, what about dermaplaning?
Also, I would not recommend doing that because you cause sensitivity, disruption in your microbiome, disruption in your skin barrier function, pigmentation issues, inflammation.
Right.
Not good.
No, I feel like I've done it a few times, or like had it done by a derm, but I feel like in the end, it ends up making me also break out because it's like you're getting like ingrown hairs and God knows what's happening, and yeah.
I remember my one of my estheticians, we were traveling to LA, and you know, she went to a facialist there to try out stuff, and they did dermaplaning, and she was so upset for 2 weeks. She was breaking out. Like she has such fair, like super, like, you know, delicate skin, and that really disrupted her entire skin. It was terrible, and it hurt her and burned her. It was terrible. Yeah.
I know. I was like, I liked the look of it at first, but I think also like we're so like averse to hair, like anywhere on our bodies, and think that it needs to be rid of. But it does serve a function.
Mhm.
I know, it's like it's crazy, you know. It's like, yeah, how do you get rid of the hair? You know, it's like I have one hair growing out of this all the time, and it's just so annoying. You know, it's like, you know, you keep like plucking and cutting, whatever. It's like, but you know, hair in this area, it's just hard to, you know, I mean, there's not like a great, do you have like a recommendation of people get, because I get asked all the time and I don't have anything I can recommend, you know?
I know. I had actually gotten my upper lip hair, my mustache lasered. You know, I was doing like my bikini line and blah, blah. And like, so this was going on for a year, and like, it does not work. The hair comes back. So like, a word to the wise, like, do not even waste your money doing it, because it does come back. Like sure, it's gone for the time like in between sessions, but it's not even like, okay, when you do your bikini line, like it's clear for like a year, and then maybe like you get 1 or 2 hairs here. No, it's like all the hairs come back immediately.
Wow.
So it is an absolute waste of money.
Yeah, there's no real solution yet, no?
No. I mean, maybe like electrolysis, but that is definitely not an option for darker skin people, and I imagine is extremely painful.
Yeah, lasers in general are just very painful.
Oh my God.
It's just,
it really is.
I did a laser thing on my face a few years ago for a story, and I have never regretted anything more, because it was like, I kept asking them like what, they gave me this little stress ball to squeeze, and they're like, just squeeze it if it's like too, and I was like, well, can't we just stop if it's too painful? And they were like, no. So they lasered my whole face, and like afterwards, it looked like I had pressed my face to a screen. It was like tiny little black dots all over. I couldn't get any sun whatsoever. It was so weird. And it was like that for like a few weeks. And then it was like fine, but I guess like they resurfaced.
What did you do?
It wasn't Fraxel, it was like a custom laser made by the Kardashian doctor. Do not do this kind of stuff to yourself, like for clicks, because it's not.
I know, the Kardashian doctor.
Yeah. But it was just, it was like, yeah, they wanted, you know, the pores to disappear. They wanted you to have like extra smooth, like baby face, but it was so painful, and it smelled like I could smell my own skin burning.
Like, it burned. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one laser done once, which was supposed to help lighten my hyperpigmentation. I forgot which laser it is. I feel like it's called like Genesis or something like that. It was a new one that they had developed, and it was actually like could be used on darker skin. Extremely painful. But it actually did help. Like I literally did see a couple of my hyperpigmentation spots. It was almost like it just like popped off my face like days later, but it was very, very painful. And I assume it's really expensive. Like I had it done free for a story as well, because that's the perks of working in this industry, is you get to try out these crazy things that most of the time don't work.
Right, exactly.
And also not necessarily good for your skin, you know?
Right,
like,
exactly.
But you know, you fall into the traps and you're like, oh yeah, let's try. I once, and that's so long ago, I was in a jury for a spa award, and they wanted me to try certain, you know, facials, and you know, I sent my my team to try most of the facials, but the one they wanted me to try, and it was like a glycolic facial, and I'm like, and it was done in a clinic, you know, and I'm like, I'm going there, I'm like, I really do not want to do that. And she's like, you know, it's not bad. It's like just 0.3%. It's so little, you know, it's so little. And I'm like, oh, geez. So she prepared the face, you know, and then she put that on, and I was like screaming. I said, take this off, take this off, take this off, take this off. So they neutralized it right away. It was so bad. It was so terrible. And I mean, it didn't really harm my skin at this point because it was on like for like 2 seconds, literally. But I mean, you can already tell it's so bad, you know?
Yeah. A lot of pain for not much gain.
Yes. Should we dial someone else in? Should we? Is there someone more?
Yeah, so we should have Thana or Thana, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Do you want to just unmute yourself? We've got just over 5 minutes left.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Then I was in your skin school session last week as well. I'm not sure if you remember.
I remember you're in Düsseldorf.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my question. And hi, Chrissy and Danielle.
Hi.
My question is basically about sun damage. And I'm just wondering, I love to be in the sun because it's summer. And but how do I protect my skin? You know, are there certain times in the day that I should avoid it? And like you, and I think you already mentioned about hyperpigmentation, so I'm quite clear about that now. But yeah, I just want to know how to protect my skin from any damage from being out in the sun, and if there are times in the day that I should avoid being exposed.
So my thinking is, my recommendation is, you know, it's always good to stay out of the midday sun. So if you want to go for walks, always good to do it in the morning or in the evening when the sun is not so strong anymore. You know, wear a hat if you can, you know, or like a little cappy. You know, wear sunscreen, like sun drops, for example, is SPF 50. It's really good. It's also with panthenol and urea and you know, hyaluronic serum, so you can just like also have the healing effect while the sun is you know being, you know, your skin is protected from the sun. And you know, reapply if you spend more time in the sun or you're doing any kinds of sports in the sun. But you know, I always try to avoid the strong sun, so I like to do sports outside. I like to, you know, be on the water, and you know, but I never lie in the sun. I never really do sunbathing. But you know, if you just do sports alone, you're spending time in the sun, and it's good to have the right protection, the right SPF. What are you guys saying, Danielle, Chrissy?
I am really adamant about sun protection. I have 2 of them actually, really big dorky sun hats that I wear every time I leave my house. Also because I live in the South and the sun is really strong. It's not uncommon to see ladies with umbrellas, and not like a rain umbrella, like an actual like little cute umbrella that they have like purposely gotten to like match like what their outfit is, because the sun is just so strong here. So if I have to like leave my house, I like always have this hat with me, and you can just like get it on Amazon. It's like $14, and you know, you can fold it. And I just went on a trip to Florida and I took it with me. I take it everywhere I go because I just don't want the sun exposure. And I think creating a physical barrier between you and the sun is better than like a chemical one. Even though I do wear sunscreen, but it's like, there's nothing like the shade. So I try to avoid the sun as much as possible.
I agree.
I know, I'm like, I'm not on that level yet. Like, my parents are Jamaican, like the sun worshiper is in me. You know, like get it. My number one focus is always like trying to get my parents to put on sunscreen, because it's like the last thing they ever think about. But for me, like I would say like the last couple of years, I've been so much better about like, I wear SPF every single day on my face, not always my body, unless I'm like actually laying in the sun. But I also think I lay in the sun a lot less frequently than I did like in my 20s, and just always like try to be in the shade. But I also love a hat, a nice, cute sun hat.
I also think sun also has a lot of good stuff to give,
Right.
For our mental health, happiness, vitamin D production, or
Mhm.
bones, joints, respiratory tract, nitric oxide. It's like so much good coming from the sun. So it's really, we shouldn't be too scared from the sun, but obviously depending also where we live, and Düsseldorf, the sun is quite strong these days, I have to say. Normally I always experience like, in the south or in like, Los Angeles, where you really wouldn't want to go out without sunscreen. Düsseldorf, I've never experienced that so strong, but it's quite strong right now. So using an SPF these days is absolutely recommended. But let's also enjoy life. We are like not born as moles. We are like above the earth. We just like, it depends also, what we want in life. Do we want to be outside and enjoy life, or are we just scared of the sun? I think it needs to be like a balance of everything.
Right, for sure. Also, like if you have to wear a mask, it was very helpful. I would have like huge sunglasses and a mask, and like
perfect.
Not a single part of my face was out.
Same. It's perfect.
That was effective. Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Who's next?
Anyone else? 1 minute left.
That's actually it now. We're coming to 6 p.m. UK time, so we're almost finished.
Anything, let's talk about your business idea, what you started. I think that's so interesting. And, I think during the pandemic, lots of people had to reinvent themselves in many, many businesses, many ways. I think we all had to pivot to something different than we were, which is challenging, and challenges bring also opportunities. So what did you guys create? I think it's really nice to hear. It's like, at the end of our skin school today, something entrepreneurial for everyone to take away.
Yeah. So Danielle and I started our consulting agency, 2BG Consulting, stands for Two Black Girls. Last June, we actually just celebrated our 1-year anniversary last week.
Congratulations.
Exciting. And, the idea just really was born out of, the uprising of BLM and what happened with Blackout Tuesday, and a lot of brands and influencers leaning on us for guidance as Black women who have worked in the fashion industry for a long time and are outspoken about the issues that we have seen firsthand in the industry. So Danielle and I have joined forces to consult with fashion and beauty brands like Barbara Sturm, and then we also teach a 2-hour workshop about anti-racism and how it shows up in the fashion and beauty worlds, because we really believe that these industries have so much power in shaping how we see other people. And a lot of times, in these industries, we only see white women being propped up as desirable and luxury, expensive, and worthy. And we really want to help brands change this narrative.
Yeah, I think for our entire careers, we've been doing a version of this kind of consulting, giving this advice to people. And for a long time, not a lot of people were listening. I mean, even with darker skin tones, like, how many of your retailers refused to even carry the line, and you had to really, put some muscle behind making sure that this was a priority for them, making this available to the consumer. And that unfortunately has been what my experience in the industry has been like for years. So we're actually really excited that people are now paying attention and listening to us. And yeah, if you are interested in signing up for a class, follow us on Instagram. It's at 2BG Consulting. And there's a link in our bio and you can sign up there. We usually teach every Wednesday evening, and we do private ones for companies as well.
Awesome. So cool. If anytime you need help from me, you let me know, okay?
Yes. Thank you, Barbara.
So nice to see you today.
Always.
Having us.
No, this was so fun.
Yeah, this was fun. This was very interesting too. I loved it. I hope everybody took some newness away and something you know, you can also bring into your daily life. We are back next week, and have a lovely evening or day wherever you are. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you, Chrissy and Danielle. Love you guys.
So, bye everyone. Thank you for joining.